The name of my story today is The Precious Gift. Friday after supper, Uncle Floyd and Barabbas sat down to watch How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Gator was upstairs in bed. Partway through, Barabbas noticed that Uncle Floyd was snoring, and before long, Gator fell asleep too. It has been a good and busy Christmas this year, but there was a certain sadness that was part of it, because Frank, Barabbas' father, who lives in California, over there in the West, never got to come from California to Pennsylvania. Now, a few days before Christmas, this is after Christmas, but a few days before Christmas, Aunt Gertrude was tucking Elizabeth into bed. Actually, it was Christmas Eve. And Elizabeth was telling her Aunt Gertrude, Barabbas was feeling sad. I wish his father got to come to Pennsylvania. Barabbas was really wanted him to come. And Aunt Gertrude said, you know, child, you don't get everything in life that you want. And then she said, you and Barabbas were very good shepherds in the Christmas pageant at church. Merry Christmas. And Aunt Gertrude kissed Elizabeth goodnight. But later that night, as Aunt Gertrude was sleeping, she thought about Barabbas. And she wondered what she could do about helping him. You know, Barabbas and Aunt Gertrude have had an odd connection. But that's a story from a while ago. And so in her dreams, Aunt Gertrude saw herself buying an airline ticket with Disney dollars, and Mickey Mouse said, thank you. What does that mean? She thought when she got up. Aren't dreams interesting? Do you ever dream? Do you remember your dreams? Sometimes they're scary, and sometimes they're just weird and funny. Yeah, well, when Jesus was a tiny baby, Joseph had an odd dream. In his dream, an angel came to him and said, take Jesus and Mary far away to Egypt and don't come back until it's safe. So Joseph did exactly what the angel in the dream had commanded, and he took them far away to Egypt. The baby Jesus is such a very special gift from God that he made sure that Joseph kept Jesus safe. Aunt Gertrude thought, well, maybe God was telling her something in her dreams. So she called Frank in California. And Frank told her the whole story about Captain Hale and how he had promised a trip to Pennsylvania for Christmas, but then it never worked out because it was a bad snowstorm out in the West. And Frank said, I really wanted to come, but I can't afford it. Just can't afford to buy a ticket. You know, said Aunt Gertrude, you don't get everything in life that you want. But sometimes you do. And so Aunt Gertrude made arrangements for Frank to fly to Pennsylvania. And then she drove Frank from the airport at Harrisburg International Airport and brought him right to Barabbas' front door. And it's Friday night. Oh, Floyd jumped up quick. My goodness, Barabbas just fell over asleep. And peeked out the window to see who it was, and he could not believe who he saw standing there. Believe me, there was great rejoicing in the Heffelfinger household that night. Wow! Yes, thank you, God, for the dream that helped Joseph protect Mary and Jesus. And thank you, God, for the dream that gave the idea to Aunt Gertrude to buy the precious gift of an airline ticket for Frank to come to Pennsylvania. And thank you, God, for the precious gift of your Son, Jesus Christ, who comes to save us all. The end.